If you haven't heard already, me and two of my wonderful genmates in Helloland did an off collab for the new year, and so that was me, DK, and Mizma. So before I went, I messaged my genmate and I said, do you want anything from the UK? And of all things DK could have wanted to the UK, she wanted Jaffa cakes, chat. But they're not even that good. Like, imagine asking for Jaffa cake. I can't get over it. Jaffa cake? Really? I don't get it. I hate telling the story while DK's in chat. I'm getting mad at DK for being here. I got DK a lot of things, actually. I got DK teas. I got DK a very fancy shortbread from Fortnum and Mason. And then she had the audacity to ask me, like, oh, Tia, did you know that you bought me like lemon and vanilla flavored? Like, of course I did. I spent my hard-earned money on that. Why would I not know? Why would I not know that I bought that for you? There may be a guest on Tia's tea room at some point, but you know, after what happened during the off collab, I really question whether I want DK and I to do a Tia's tea room together. I actually think I would die inside. There were lots of moments in our off collab. I don't know if DK said this, and I don't know if DK noticed, where I was just molding inside. I was dying so much inside, and I was trying so hard not to show it on my face. The sheer disappointment and British rage that I felt towards DK, there was just a lot of things. DK herself has said on stream that she has no etiquette, and as a princess, it was tough, chat. I went through a lot during that off collab. I think what like got me the most, where I was like, for a lot of things, I'll let it slide and I won't say anything because obviously I don't want to make someone feel bad. But there were several things that DK did where I just had to be like, DK, you need to stop that. So one of the things that DK did that just killed me was she kept like counting her money note, like her physical cash note, in the middle of one of the busiest train stations, just like whipping it out of her pocket, filtering through it, just counting it, not even doing anything with it. We were just walking through the train and I was like, DK, you need to put that away. That's like not safe to do. You can't just whip out like a whole wad of cash from your pocket and just start counting it for no reason. Like, that's not a safe thing to do. And DK was like, why? I'm like, what do you mean why? I was like, someone could come up and try and take it out of your hands. Like, it could be dangerous. We could get like targeted, you know, for pickpocketing. I know it's a pretty safe place, but you kind of can't play with fire. He was like, I'll just punch them. I'm like, DK, you have 150 centimeters of height and the arms of a tree that is dead in the desert. They're twigs. She kept doing that the entire time. Yeah, exactly, chat. Exactly, chat. I was so molding. Why would DK do that? Exactly. Dude, I can't. DK was actually trying to get us killed. DK was trying to get us jacked. She hates me, chat. I have the gremlin. You actually don't have any strength at all. That's the other thing. DK acts so tough, but when you see her for real, she's just so tiny and so easily overpowered. Like, she didn't even try and fight back the entire time when Mizma was like picking her up. She didn't fight back when I was like grabbing her and being like, you're so tiny. Because she knows she can't. So what was she gonna do, chat? She was not gonna win. What are you doing to DK? What did DK do to us is the greater question, I think. But yeah, there were just several moments during the off collab where DK did like, how do I say this? Micro brain behavior. I would describe it as micro brain behavior. And when I would point out the micro brain behavior, DK would just be like, but why is it bad? And I'd be like, what do you mean? But what do you mean, why is it bad? It was a very trying time for me. And I'm glad to be free, chat. I'm very glad to be free. I do question that. After seeing how DK acts, I do question how DK is still alive. Can I ask you, what have they said about the afternoon tea? What do you guys know? We need to do an information exchange. I forgot to bring it up. Yeah, it's probably for the best you didn't bring it up, DK, with what you were doing. Wait, they didn't bring it up? I'm actually so offended right now, chat. I'm so offended. This is my contribution to the itinerary. I can't believe it. Well, chat, do I have things to tell you about our afternoon tea trip? So my contribution to the itinerary was, please can we do a very fancy afternoon tea? Because if you know me, I love afternoon tea, and I have been to some of the fanciest, indeed, some of the most fancy afternoon teas you could possibly go to. And the UK does afternoon tea particularly well. I've traveled across the globe for afternoon tea, and I have experienced very many good ones. So my standards, I would say, are quite high. We did go to a very fancy afternoon tea place. When we walked into the afternoon tea setting, I would say it was a very small seating area, probably at least 5 tables out of maybe 20 tables. At least 5 of them were wearing like full suits. It was a fancy location. I remember I walked in and I was like, oh, I thought it would be a bit more casual here because I didn't read about a dress code, but my companions may have been dressed less formally, and one of my companions may have been in a hoodie. And I remember saying to them, I feel like an aunt taking out 2 teenagers for a fancy afternoon tea because I remember looking around and I didn't want to say anything at the time, but I was like, oh my gosh, I've never felt like I'm the one that's sticking to dress code. I was like, oh no, I hope no one looks at us. Oh no. It was fine. We didn't get kicked out. It was okay. This was the time where I think it really struck me that when DK says I don't have etiquette, that's something she said on her stream. She admitted herself, I have no etiquette. She said that, not me. But this was the occasion where I really felt it. I felt it so so much. I have received formal etiquette training in British and international etiquette. Yeah, I'm a princess. What do you expect from me? This is not typecast. Well, it's typecasting, but it's also accurate typecasting. You know what I'm saying? I know things. I know too many things. I wish I didn't know as many things that I do. Do you eat a banana with a fork and knife? No, but I actually know how to do it. I practiced. I was made to practice. This is not out of my free will, chat. When you're a princess, you have to abide by certain etiquette standards. Before I sound like really pretentious, there is nothing wrong with not knowing etiquette at all. It is, at the end of the day, just a bunch of rules that people made up, and a lot of them are very, very, very antiquated and things that don't make sense anymore because they were made so long ago that they don't make sense anymore. There are elements of elitism to etiquette that I don't agree with, and I want us to be mindful of that in our conversation. But there's also basic things, DK. There are basic things, DK. I'm very lenient when people don't know etiquette, but DK, my god, DK, what are you doing, DK? We were 10 minutes late for our reservation, and we sat down. I can't even say it. I feel mean. We sat down, and the lovely waitress comes over and like says, oh yes, blah blah, have you had afternoon tea before? Here's like your menu. And DK just looked at her like we had just sat down, and this was her first time coming over. And DK looked at her, and she went, yeah, so when's our food coming? With like the most deadpan stare. I was so mortified. I was like, no. It was fine. It's probably a language barrier thing. It was just like the way it was phrased in the deadpan delivery that really killed me on the inside. And the fact we just sat down. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, I did say like DK afterwards. I was like, DK, we just sat down. And DK was like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like, oh, we meant to order it. I just want to know how long it would take. Just DK. Okay, I'm glad chat agrees with me because I felt like I was losing my marbles. I felt like I was going insane at this afternoon tea. Am I out of touch? Am I in the wrong? I would only have done that if I waited out. Okay, good. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. At a lot of moments during this off collab, I realized that like things I thought were clear were not clear, and I'm just very British, and I expect, because I live in the UK, so I expect other people to just like get like my implied Britishisms, but like Mima and DK, they didn't, and I had to learn how to not be British. So anyway, we got our sandwiches, which were you get the whole tier, which is scone, sandwiches, and then dessert, so pastries. There were lots of fillings in these sandwiches, and I noticed maybe perhaps DK was dropping several of the toppings all over the table, and even on her lap, and then she would get her fingers, and then she'd take it off her clothing and then eat it with her fingers. I noticed this a few times, so I said, DK, you could put the napkin on your lap, because she left it like on the table, just folded that, and I said, oh DK, you can put the napkin on your lap if you'd like. That, you know, it's meant to stop you from getting marks on your clothing. And DK was like, why? Every time I was like, DK, maybe this. She's like, why? I can't do it, chat. I can't do this anymore. So she kept refusing to put the napkin on her lap. So in the napkin was her cutlery. So she'd taken the spoon out, she'd taken the fork out. Those were like on her plate somehow, somewhere. And then DK spilled her tea all over the knife. So basically picture like a napkin, a knife on top of it. She spilled the tea all over like the head of the knife. She picked up the napkin and the knife at the same time, literally leaned over the table, brought it to her face, and then licked up the length of the knife to get the tea. Guys, I have to emphasize, at a table diagonally opposite me, there were 8 people in suits having a business meeting, and DK was out here leaning over the table and like licking up a knife in broad daylight. And then chat, it gets worse. She then used that knife to use it to eat out of the communal jam pot. You get one jam pot for afternoon tea. She used that knife to eat out of the communal jam pot. I can't do it. I can't. We all shared our jam pot. Actual barbarian, yeah, that's very rude. Yeah, right. I'm not crazy, right? Am I? I was watching this and I was like, am I out of touch? Maybe I am a princess. Maybe my standards are too high. I feel like Spectra's overreacting. How dare you? How dare you? Do you want to share DK's saliva? Don't answer that, chat, you weirdos. Anyway, the way you used your utensils to eat your mushroom pie, yes, because my mushroom pie was like a whole mushroom pie that I put on my plate and it was entirely mine. What different? But DK, I wasn't licking my knife when I ate. I used my knife to cut the mushroom pie. I didn't then lick my knife and then stick it in the jam pot. What are you on about? These situations are not the same. DK, do you not realize what's wrong about this? DK, I feel like you missed the point. DK. I don't get it. Your pie had saliva? No, because I cut the mushroom pie into pieces before I ate it with my fork. What? I'm so baffled right now. I'll only say one more final thing about DK's afternoon tea etiquette because I don't want to say too many things that could be used against her in future. But I just want to talk about the way DK picked up her teacup. I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, get your hand, turn it so that your palm is facing the floor, and then like bend all of your your fingers. So it's like a spider. Now, make sure your fingers are like spread around in a circle, like you're gonna pick up a tennis ball off the floor and it's really muddy and you want to like minimize finger contact with the tennis ball. DK picks up her teacup by using that spider hand formation and like picking up the rim of the cup. And then she like bends down to sip out of it instead of just using the handle. Hang on, let me draw this on MS Paint for you guys. She does this, chat. That's her hand. She picks up the top like that. And then she will like bend down towards the table. Do you even pick up Chinese teacups like that in that formation? Do you really? But do you really pick up Chinese teacups like that? I don't think that's how you even pick up Chinese teacups. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's how you pick them up. You're right, you wouldn't know. So are you. So are you. So are you. You Scandinavian. I can't believe her. Now she's pulling out the race card to justify the atrocious way with which she picks up a teacup. Because I am the way that I am. I was politely explaining like afternoon tea etiquette trivia because both my genmates said that they were perhaps interested in afternoon tea etiquette trivia. And this was like my polite begging to DK. Yeah, you do? Oh, really? I see. Edgy anime character drinks like that. Yeah, literally like an edgy anime character. It was terrifying. Well, guys, I'm not sure if you, okay. I'll take your guys' word for it. That is not how I know of this.
My name is Pei. I am the resident tea master at Chaya Tea House, and I'm going to talk tea with you today. Now, to hold tasting cup, you hold the teacup using your thumb and your index finger, and if you can, support the bottom of the cup with your middle finger. When you drink tea, use your middle finger to tilt the cup so that the tea can be delivered into your mouth. So that's the way to hold a Chinese teacup. So to drink tea, I'm going to show you how. This is the way you hold your teacup. Bring to your mouth, tilt the teacup so that the tea is delivered to your mouth. The second way of holding a Chinese teacup is where you hold a gaiwan. I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the saucer like this, using my left hand. Using my right hand, I'm taking the lid of the gaiwan teapot and simply quick stir away any tea leaves or any flowers in the teapot and bring it to my mouth for drinking, like this.
不思議の宮下祐介です。Please hold your glass. Thank you. Please.
So I was, politely explaining to Mima how one tends to do afternoon tea, the proper way to hold a teacup, where to put your knife and fork on the plate, fun little things like that. And Mima was doing it. DK did not do it. DK didn't do any of it. DK didn't even put the napkin on her lap the entire time. It was disastrous. It was so disastrous, chat. I was really hoping that maybe like a hint would get through DK's mind and she would maybe, I don't know, anything. Sadly, that didn't happen. Sadly, I had to witness many atrocities that day. Chinese teacups are much smaller. You don't need the same grip. Oh, no, yeah, I know like the etiquette for like Chinese tea and how you're not meant to pour all the way to the rim because you don't want the guest to burn your fingers, and if you do pour it all the way to the rim, then you're telling the other person to leave, like you don't like them, they're not welcome in your home. You don't approach the top there. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you like have like the thumb and like the four fingers grip, not like the vending claw machine. Yeah, it's like a claw machine grip. It's a claw machine grip. That's how you describe how DK holds a teacup. But it's not even like she claw machine grips all the way to her mouth. She'll like do it halfway and then she'll bend over the table like shrimp posture and slurp. Oh my god, she slurped every time. Every time, Jack, she was slurping. She was slurping so loud. And also, to make all of this worse, to make this like even more baffling in terms of the ergonomics, she left her teaspoon in her cup the entire time. So every time she was drinking, you would just hear the teaspoon fell against the porcelain and like slapped her in the face. You just hear that. You just see it happen. I was like, DK, you could take out the spoon, maybe. She's like, why? I don't mind it here. Surfing in Asian culture is a thing. DK, did the place we go to look like an Asian establishment? No, it didn't. It was not an Asian establishment. Were we in Asia? No, we were not in Asia. Surfing is Asian indeed. Don't blame us on her. But that doesn't matter because we weren't in an Asian establishment or in Asia where it's socially acceptable. If it's considered rude in the place you're in, you should try not to do that thing even if it's considered good in another place. Do you guys not get that? Guys? I don't understand you, chat. You can't just change your cultural behavior that easily if you're used to it. Okay, sure. That's how I feel. Okay. It's not like you are from Sweden or anything. I feel like not slurping, I thought it was low. I thought it was a low bar. Maybe I need to reevaluate. Chat, am I the problem? Is it me? Maybe I'm just not open-minded enough to accept massive slurping all the time. I don't know, chat. I'll leave it for the masses to decide. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm cancelled, then I guess I'll be cancelled. Here's the thing. One of my best friends. Wait, am I pulling the my best friend is Asian and slurps card? Am I doing that? Yeah, I kind of am. Is that problematic? One of my besties is Asian, and at university they had a bunch of like really nice like student noodle cafes, which did really budget stuff. We would both slurp there all the time because that's like an Asian. But then like when we were at our formal dinners together, we would not slurp because it was like Western food. If you go to Asia, are you gonna slurp? Yeah, I slurp in Asian establishments where it's like considered polite. As DK said, DK really like did not care. Just didn't really care about anything. For breakfast at the hotel, she would go down to the lobby and have breakfast in the hotel like restaurant dining area in her pajamas. And I did tell her like genuinely, DK, like one or two people were looking at you because you are in pajamas. And she was like, so? I'm like, okay. So you know, DK did her normal, that clash with your normal, they're both normal in their own way. Sorry, I'm just getting some DMs from DK. Wonderful times. I should block her. She really is in her own world. No, genuinely. DK doesn't, I love DK, but in real life, she really doesn't have any listening retention. I would say a few things in advance because I know they're things that are gonna like confuse her. Like I'd say like, oh, like here's how long it takes to get to this place, or like here's like the direction, or oh, are you okay with this? 3 or 4 times when I knew it would probably be like something that would come up, and DK would be like, okay, and I thought she understood. And then later she would ask me, oh hey, so where are we going, by the way? Oh yeah, what about this thing? And I'd be like, but I explained that to you like once this morning and then twice on the way here so that you knew, and you nodded and you said yes, and now you're asking me? But no, it was a lovely experience. I'm really glad my Genmates came with me. I felt like I was dragging them along there a little bit because afternoon tea is like something I really enjoy, and I didn't know if they'd enjoy it, but luckily they said to me that they did enjoy it, so I was very, very happy about that. How was Misma? Misma was wonderful. So wonderful. My best student. She was doing everything I taught her. She was stirring her tea the way I taught her. She was positioning her cutlery the way I taught her. I love Mima. I love Misma so much. Misma's so lovely. Misma did nothing wrong. The same cannot be said of my other Genmate. And I fear what would have happened if Zelly was there. I really do, because I love Zelly. But she will eat everything, including porcelain. I love how this is an hour-long rant with Spectra, but DK didn't even bring it up. See, that's the thing. DK just, I think there's only elevator music in DK's head. On my little notes list of things DK did, DK and I were going to go on public transport to get somewhere 40 minutes before we were about to leave. I know DK. So 40 minutes before we were going to leave, I said, are you okay with us getting the train in 30 minutes? And she said, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's completely fine. Fine with me. 30 minutes. I gave her like an extra 10 minutes leeway. And then 20 minutes later, still an extra 20 minutes later, I said, we're going in 20 minutes, right? Like 20 minutes before we leave. And DK then said, what? No, I have to shower and then I have to do my makeup. But 40 minutes ago, I told you we're leaving in half an hour and you didn't move. You didn't move for 20 minutes. And now you're telling me you want to have a shower and do your makeup? Suffice to say, we did not make that train. We had to wait like another hour. Pain. This is like an example of what I said of like, I was mentally planning around information not being processed and it still went wrong. There's also a funny interaction at like the end of the trip where DK was like breakdancing in the room and I was reading fan fiction in bed, so I was like not moving. DK was like, why is Tia ignoring me? Tia, why are you ignoring me? And I was like, I'm always ignoring you, DK. And I think that really summarized how the mental state I was put in by the end of the trip. Love DK, but life is pain for me.